Uzaki-chan, over here. We're gonna talk about you. An Anime Lounge discussion number 10. And a good day to you too, guys. What is going on? Shadow Gamer AX coming at you with another discussion video for you guys today. And as you can tell, I'm very intrigued on this topic that I want to discuss on this video today. Is what I wanted to talk about is, you know, the more people bitch about anime, the more popular and more traction it's gonna get. And I, for one, find this absolutely hilarious because when you're looking at it from a standpoint perspective, all these people that bitch about anime on Twitter aren't really anime fans. Now, they just like to look for their next hot take, and using Uzaki-chan as a great example of this, you kind of get the feeling like they're just there to bitch, and that's what everybody on YouTube knows about. People know that Twatter knows that this show is very popular, and they will do anything they can to cancel it. Failing miserably. I don't know about you guys, but I think they need to quit while they're ahead. They're fucking embarrassing themselves. Because they're hating the show for the wrong reasons. Ridiculous and retarded dumb fucking reasons to that note. Now, there are a lot of people that claim that they hate the show because of her voice, which is understandable. That's an actual fucking legitimate reason. But to that I say, isn't that kind of the point? To make Uzaki-chan like sound like your brain's being put to a toothpick through through Senpai's fucking perspective? Like, that's how he views her in the beginning of the anime. Like, she's obnoxious. She's supposed to be that way, but she's supposed to also put Senpai in those funny scenarios to make it actually hilarious, in which they do extremely well. Praise all around. In retrospect, her being annoying is one of the most funniest perks of her character. But I don't get your taste, man. I really don't. Using another example to this topic is Rising of the Shield Hero. Everybody supposedly hated the show because of Raphtalia's introduction to the anime, which is supposed to be it's supposed to be an action adventure show. So it's kind of expected. It's supposed to, you know, have those elements in there considering the background. It's supposed to be dramatic. What part of that don't you understand? So, you know, to those people, if you don't like this show, then don't watch it. But don't ever try to ruin the show because you don't like it and ruin the experience for other people. That's what I cannot ever stand. I cannot understand this. Why do people always have to ruin the shows because they're uncomfortable with it? Ultimately, thinking in this mentality mindset that, if they can't enjoy the show, then nobody should. Like, that's stupid. Ekopara was the next on the list of the ones that people hated because it was making these cat maids they're being slaves to their masters. Like, oh my god, have you even fucking read Ekopara? Like, they've taken it way too far before in the original novel. From what I've been hearing, it's actually a fucking hentai. Be lucky that that you didn't get any of that scene. But just between you and me, I wouldn't mind having those scenes in the anime actually adaptation. So say what you want, but I wouldn't mind having the shows those types of scenes in there. Just if you're talking on a realistic standpoint here. And lastly, that comes to my mind is it has to be interspecies reviewers, because if you remember when that show came out, people fucking lost their minds. They lost their minds because they thought, oh, and you could tell that the salt was so fucking The assault was so real that people were actually crying, bitching, whining, and doing everything they could until Funimation finally removed something and pissed the majority of the people and the actual anime fans off. And to be honest with you guys, I love interspecies reviewers. It was one of the best shows of the year so far, hands down. And I also remember Nuxtaku had special shout out to Nux, by the way. He's a good YouTuber. And I'd recommend checking some of his videos out. He does a lot of funny stuff. He does a lot of flexing. He loves to flex. And you could say that I'm doing a little flex on these people as well. But Nux, in a sense, basically put Anime List and made interspecies reviewers #1 overall. And I don't think it was Nux's fault that it went #1. I think people generally like the interspecies reviewers. That's why it became #1. For me, I actually set it to 10 out of 10 for me. I really enjoyed the hell out of that show. It was fucking awesome as hell. But it all goes back to one thing. What made these shows popular was because SJWs fucking read their heads off because they're bitching about stupid stuff that had no bearing on the show. They just like to bitch about it over the stupidest reasons and hate the show for the dumbest, retarded, most idiotic reasons they could ever think of. It then got some good traction. It then got some brand new fans to boot. And it ended up being a massive, most gigantic success out of it. And to think, it all started with idiots bitching and whining over the stupidest, retarded reason on Twatter. But in all seriousness, I want to say thanks, man. You're really giving us anime fans some good traction and some good PR, because what you're doing is hating on a show for the most dumbest, retarded reasons, and then getting your ass blown, your ass burned, not to mention ratioed in your takes, which is hilarious. And if you haven't seen this other YouTuber, Hero Hey, he calls a lot of these people out and shows the hypocrisy of these people. It's really fucking funny. And to further prove my point on this topic, I'd rather show you guys a clip from a YouTuber that basically said what I basically wanted to. Like, she hit every ball point on the head. So to end this video off with a bang, and the big ol' FU to Twatter, I'm going to show you the clip that I was describing. And believe you me, this girl says it way better than I ever could in this whole entire video. Let's be honest here. Anyway, I will leave a link to her video in the description down below, as well as I'll leave a link to Nuxtaku's channel in the description down below. Here is the description down below. And with that being said, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day or night. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell. With that being said, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out, guys.
The reason why I even addressed those things earlier is because those are the same people who are advocates for embracing people at every size, and naysayers for people simply stating that people who are morbidly obese are risking other illnesses. The point of the matter is, Uzaki-chan is 19 years old, she's a woman, what is your problem? I mean, there are so many other anime out there that take the cake when it comes to creepiness and what you would deem as inappropriate, or even what everybody would deem as inappropriate, but you choose one of the only ones that are as realistic as they come. I feel like people just want to find something to bitch about. Seriously. And then you want to talk about respecting all cultures? Stop telling Japan how to do their art. You're not even part of the country or the culture. And if anybody should be offended over how somebody draws a cartoon character, take a look at the American cartoon characters who literally look like airplane wings and water bags. Anyways, thanks to the outrage, now I know about this anime and I will be watching it, especially since I can heavily identify with this character, except she's really super annoying. If I meet someone who's more introverted than I am, I tend to be that way too, and they end up being so annoyed when I'm there, or that I'm there in general, but then they always end up loving my company and we become the best of friends, and sometimes even more. I mean that was back then though, because whatever. Thanks so much for watching. Don't let people take away your nice things. People out there who are insecure and miserable, stay away from our video games and our anime. It clearly is not your community. Stop pretending like you care what happens within it. Thanks for watching.